guys, again, when you watch Dark and Elevation, you're seeing Team Taz. Obviously, Taz likes to talk a lot of smack on commentary, but Team Taz is really like, this is what we saw tonight is just constant with these guys. They're like, they said, Team Taz always has a plan. Their plan is just to be a bunch of scumbags and do sneak attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time. Brian Cage, the Machine, I know that Bonds, you were having a hard time with the way this one was starting to get built between Cage and Starks.
Yeah.
I think that involving Hobbs and Hook and getting Team Taz to play the numbers game against Brian Cage was a real smart move in the right direction because, again, I tried to explain. You see the visual of Starks and Cage in the ring together, and it's going to be hard to feel sympathy for Cage as the babyface. But all of a sudden, you throw him up against Powerhouse Hobbs, and you start having Hook get involved in cheating in matches, and then Starks gets to run his mouth off. Using the numbers game and basically surrounding the Machine with his former friends and allies that have turned on him is a real smart move to try to catapult Brian Cage back into the trajectory that we think that he should be going in.
And I felt like it worked tonight. You heard the pop for Brian Cage. It
Glad
felt,
to hear you say it.
Oh, it worked much better than it has on any Dynamite in recent weeks. This was a big step in the right direction. I think involving Hobbs, like you said, brilliant because these guys are equals in terms of size, strength, ability. And then getting Hook involved just makes it edge out away from Brian Cage, which is great. The crowd was hot for him tonight. His moveset was a little bit more babyface. Personally, it looked like it to me. He didn't do as much of the bragging stuff that he usually does in the match. Yep. It was nice to see that. It felt like natural that it was happening. And then, they went even further by having Ricky Starks get involved and cheap shot Cage during the match. So it's, they're building this slow, it's a slow burn, but I'm glad that it's finally going in the right direction to where the fans are starting to get invested. And I'm, as a Team Taz fan who loved where they were going weeks ago, and it kind of just died on us. Like, I'm glad that it's going in a direction where it's okay. Like, the crowd's back into it. It's not a dead crowd during these random segments where they're just interrupting each other and coming out and doing nothing. Like, this is actually a match.
Yes, getting the physicality into this feud has helped a lot.
Necessary.
And it's no one. Powerhouse Hobbs was one of my kind of shocker picks in our draft. I know that I kind of picked him early, and some folks were kind of shocked, but I feel like Hobbs is one of those guys that when I look at it, dude, going toe to toe with Brian Cage tonight, the crowd was hot for this one. This one felt like a fight, fellas. I know that the match
Hoss versus Hoss for sure.
PNP versus FTR had a lot of people thinking, man, the emotions were hot. That was a fight. But dude, watching Hobbs and Cage go at each other, those boys were laying into each other tonight. I thought that this one was a great example of really pushing the youth in Powerhouse Hobbs, setting him up to look like $1 million, going against somebody like Brian Cage, really showcasing what a powerhouse he really is, right? Really enjoyed the way this one played out. And I think that what we've seen, again, Team Taz getting involved in kind of utilizing more than just having Ricky Starks as on the mic, really utilizing all the players in that group has made this feud have so much more legs to it, I feel like.
Definitely. I agree. And I think eventually we got to have, Cage being as big as he is, have a little bit of help in some form, to even the odds. A 3-on-1 is if anyone could do it, Cage probably can, because who better? Right. The strength of him, and we've talked about it, is truly unreal. That second rope suplex, that is a lot of strain on the lower back and your hamstrings, especially to pick up a hoss like Hobbs, who has 5 straight wins, and all of them are less than a minute, as the announcer said. So some pretty impressive stuff on that. This was starting to me become a dud. And now I think this is starting to get a little bit more steam and more heat. And I just hope that they push the throttle on this and we can see more of this versus having, weeks or over a month hiatus between matches or anything with the feud.